All right. We are live. Howdy, everybody. Alan Newell and Dr. Inge Wetzel coming to you live on a Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, January the 11th, 11122. 11122. Got a great training tonight that Inge's been talking about doing for a while because, and this is a topic that, I, Inge, you probably know the percentages, but it seems like every single person I meet or talk to, especially above, 40, 50 years old, is dealing with thyroid issues.
Yeah, correct, Alan. It's nationwide because the United States has radon in the ground all over the country, but the highest concentration is in the Midwest, why we have an epidemic of it. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, listen, I appreciate you coming on. As always, everybody loves your trainings and love to hear from you. And so, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share your wisdom, your knowledge for people. Because, listen, folks, this is a topic that Inga's taught me a lot about over the last 6 to 7 months, and there's so much tied to the thyroid and adrenals. And so, Inga, with that, I will let you have it.
Hey, you didn't say how good you're feeling since I put you on that regimen.
Well, that goes without saying. I do feel amazing, and it has made a huge difference in how I feel and my energy level for sure. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah.
You're welcome. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at thyroid and adrenals and more. Why do I put these two together? It's kind of like Siamese twins, thyroid and adrenals. There's one body, and there's two heads attached to that body if you have Siamese twins, correct? Well, imagine you were to only feed one head. What's going to happen to that other person that has the other head? You think they die off? And that is accurate. So the same with thyroid and adrenals. If you feed the thyroid, with every dose of thyroid you take, your adrenals start shutting down. Now, when the adrenals are completely shut down, you have 5 hours left to live. The adrenals are critical in the body. They are tiny little glands, but your entire body is dependent on those adrenals. So we never separate the two in any protocol. I'll give you a little bit about my background, why I got into thyroid. As a child, I had severe constipation, like I'm talking once a week. I had fatigue, I had concentration issues, weight problems when I was little. I was underweight. They'd send me to a camp. The doctor would send me there to try to get weight on me. They couldn't get weight on me. When I hit my mid-30s, it went in the other direction. I couldn't lose the weight. I've had bouts with depression, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. My depression has been so bad that at times in the past, my husband told me that he was afraid to come home thinking I would have killed myself. So it's been that bad. And going to the doctor and taking antidepressants has never been an option for me because they really don't help. You see commercials where you take this antidepressant. If it doesn't work, add your doctor to add that one. Well, you get double the side effects, and it doesn't solve the cause. They're not looking for the cause. Anyway, then anxiety, depression and anxiety goes also hand in hand. Menstrual problems, irregularity, fertility problems, fibromyalgia. I have had all of it. So my blood test was normal. So the main hormone that they check is a T3 hormone. In my blood work, my T3 was 30. If you look at the range was 24 to 39 when I had this done. I am smack in the middle of the normal range, right? How much more normal can I get? My TSH also perfectly normal. My ferritin was normal because the range was 10 to 291. Well, depending on your age, your ferritin levels need to be between 80 and 100 if you're postmenopausal. If you're premenopausal, ferritin needs to be between 130 and 150. Anything below that, your thyroid cannot convert their hormones. So I had a urine test done with an endocrinologist in Brussels, Belgium. My T3 came back in capital letters, severely underactive thyroid, only 15% active T3. Now you saw my blood work was completely normal. That is just to let you know how inaccurate blood work is. You gotta find a doctor who is open-minded. I mean, I work with people. I cannot give prescriptions out, obviously. I do have some support products. But a doctor needs to be open-minded. I have fired 3 endocrinologists because they didn't have a clue. I showed them my labs from Europe, and they make a copy, goes in a folder, run blood work. Oh, here is 65 milligrams. Well, I kept going down and down and down until this 4th doctor, she actually asked, could she keep the copy to study it? And I'm taking 120 milligrams of thyroid, and I feel like I'm halfway human again. So yeah, my blood work doesn't justify it, but my body does. And I have no signs of hyperthyroidism. So let's take a look at blood work. TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone. It's a very poor indicator of thyroid. If your pituitary doesn't function properly, your TSH will never tell them anything. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay? These are hormones that stimulate the thyroid to produce, and they are produced by your pituitary gland. My pituitary gland has always been off. So it never showed up. My TSH never showed up. Your T4 circulates in the blood. It's a hormone that circulates in the blood, but it has to be converted to T3 to enter into the cell. Okay? There is free T3, which is the active hormone. Ferritin, again, necessary for conversion, meaning I compare it to baking a cake. I have a bag of milk and a bottle of milk, a bag of flour. I have a party and I'm coming over to your house because I'm so overwhelmed with all the work. I say, hey, can you help me make a cake for tomorrow? Here is flour and milk. And you're like, I don't have the other ingredients. Well, the same thing goes with your body. If you take levothyroxine, if you take Synthroid, you are taking a T4 hormone. And in order for your body to turn it into T3, it requires a list of ingredients, and your body just doesn't have it. So that hormone, those hormones go out through the urine and don't really help you. So ferritin is one of the ingredients that's necessary for T4 to be turned into T3. I always tell people to get their antibodies checked. TPO antibodies, autoimmune disease. I sent one lady to the doctor with major problems with her weight and fatigue. I said, you need to get this tested. Her TPO antibodies was 1,200. Off the chart. She had Hashimoto's. Never diagnosed. Nobody ever looked at it. Same with the anti-thyroid antibodies. Both of those last 2 tests are for autoimmune disease, and everybody should get that done. Okay? Like I said, blood tests are totally inaccurate. So think about what is normal. Urine test is the only accurate measure not done in the United States, but you can test yourself. Take your underarm temperature before arising in the morning. If you're still menstruating, you take your temperature 2nd, 3rd, and 4th day of your cycle. If you are not menstruating anymore, you can take it anytime you want to. Normal temperature should be between 97.8 and 98.2. My temperature was always 95.6, 95.7. No wonder I was cold. Your thyroid sets the thermostat. So let's take a look what all the thyroid works on. Lipid metabolism, cholesterol and fat. Yeah, no statin drug solves the problem. Thyroid hormones can solve the problem. If you're taking any statin drug, pay attention here. If you're paying any statin drug, you are blocking thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones control fat metabolism, cholesterol metabolism, okay? So you're blocking the very hormones that control your thyroid. And of course, when you block thyroid hormones, you start developing a lot of other problems. Thyroid function also controls carbohydrate metabolism. Thyroid hormones stimulate almost all aspects of carbohydrate metabolism, including improved entry of glucose into the cell. I'm going to draw you a little picture here. So you have thyroid hormones flowing around in the blood, and your cells see those thyroid hormones. Well, it needs thyroid hormones to grab that glucose that is floating around in your body and move it into the cell to burn it for fuel. Okay, so you get that picture. If you don't have thyroid hormones, you have elevated glucose levels in the blood and will get diabetes because you're just lacking the thyroid hormones to move that from the blood into the cell. How basic is that? If you have issues, talk to your doctor about it. Development. Thyroid hormones promote growth, and they are intertwined with the growth promoting effects of growth hormones. Of course, growth hormones have been a hot topic for many, many years, anti-aging and everything else. So it definitely controls that. You'll see some kids are underdeveloped, girls that do not develop, when other girls develop when they become teenagers. So lots of different signs there. The thyroid hormones also control growth. They're necessary for proper growth in young children and is closely linked to levels of IGF-1. IGF-1 stands for insulin growth factor 1. It is, again, a critical hormone necessary to convert T4 to T3. Okay? It's an anti-aging hormone. It has to do with muscle tone. It has to do with blood sugar. It controls lots of things in the body. Thyroid hormones also affect heart rate, contraction of the heart muscle, and vasodilation. As I started to up my thyroid hormones to 120 for the first 3 days, I could tell my heart muscle was adjusting. Okay. Then it was just fine, right back to normal. Central nervous system, increased and decreased levels of thyroid hormones alter your mental state. I am kind of a geek. I like to do some research. It's not official, but I collect information. And I put all that information back in my brain, and little by little, the puzzle starts to form shape. So one time I asked a friend of mine who worked at a nursing home for Alzheimer's patients. I said, could you find out how many of your patients take thyroid hormones? Well, it was 100%. Of course, they were not taking a natural thyroid. They were all taking a synthetic T4. That doesn't work. I told my mother-in-law probably 20 years ago that she had low thyroid. My father-in-law was a pathologist. He was on the board of immunology. He was on the board of infectious disease control. He was highly respected in the medical field. And Dad says there's nothing wrong with Mom's thyroid. So several years later, after dementia started setting on, she was diagnosed with low thyroid and she was given Synthroid. I didn't interfere. It was too late. That's how it happens. Then I had a client who was a clinical social worker at a mental health prison in Arizona. I asked her the same question. I said, could you check to see how many of the youth are taking Synthroid or some type of thyroid medicine? It was 76%. Again, thyroid controls the brain. Depression is very, very common with low thyroid people. So it also affects the reproductive system. Reproduction is dependent on sufficient amounts of thyroid hormones. Low levels are associated with infertility and stillbirth. I've seen so many people over the years who I could have helped, but I just knew them. They didn't come in my office. I never talked to them, and I just could tell that they had a low thyroid. But you're not just going to go in people's face and say, hey, you should try some thyroid therapy. But it's sad when you see them have miscarriage after miscarriage. Metabolism. T3 sets your body's thermostat. They control your body temperature, thus setting the burn rate of your calories. Again, like I said, my temperature used to be 95.6, so my furnace was not burning a lot. Okay, now my temperature's up to 97.2. I am burning more. I've lost 22 pounds on the thyroid program because finally my body was getting what it needed. You also see a lot of goiters. You go to the store or restaurant and you look at people's neckline and you see goiters everywhere, and yet they don't get diagnosed. Okay. The lady on the left has a goiter. You see that swelling at the base of the neck. The gentleman on the right has a goiter. It's a lack of enzymes to produce iodine. The body cannot produce thyroid hormones without iodine. That is one ingredient that I use a lot with people. Body fat percentage. So excess fat correlates with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes. And personally, I don't believe in pre-diabetes. You either have it or you don't. Diabetes, cancer, and other serious illnesses. Maintaining a healthy percentage is critical. Eating protein is vital. And I may upset some people here because I'm going to say something that's not going to be popular. The keto diet. The more protein you take, the more stress you put on the thyroid gland. Okay? It actually can start working less and less because of the stress and the high protein you're putting in your body. And you can research it if you don't believe me. Of course, we do eat protein daily. Protein is very critical. We do our shake every morning. My husband is a big meat eater. I'm not. I'm a pescatarian. I only eat fish. But protein is vital for lots of functions. But I'm not a keto supporter. Glandular system. Your glandular system controls all these factors. You don't get diabetes because you're low in metformin. I just had a lady in the office last week who was on 2 diabetic medications. They're both brand new. She was Hispanic. And I looked at her and her niece was interpreting for her. And I said, you never want to take a medication that's not been on the market for 10 years. They're using you for a guinea pig, okay? Especially minorities. So be aware, you don't want to be a guinea pig. So what controls metabolism? T3 hormone is the most important. T3 is converted from T4, but requires a lot of precursors. Like I said, kind of like baking a cake. You need all the ingredients to add with the T4 to turn it into T3. Here's the key. Conversion takes place in the liver, in the kidneys, and in the small intestines. Yeah, it doesn't just happen anywhere in the body. Lots of people have intestinal problems. I'm sure, if you've been open to natural health for a while, you hear all about the gut. Well, when the gut has issues, you can't convert your your T3 to your T4 to T3. Okay? So 60% is activated in the liver. Again, the liver is overloaded and bombarded with toxins from the body. 20% is activated in the intestines, and another 20% is activated in the kidneys. So these organs all need to be supported so they can handle the conversion. The thyroid controls fat metabolism, as I said. Cholesterol, however, is necessary for hormone production and is concentrated in your adrenal glands. If you do not have good cholesterol in your body cannot make hormones. It's a necessity. It's a necessary ingredient. When fat settles in your waist, it needs to be replaced and displaced. What does that mean? Okay, the fat that's in your waist is brown fat. We need to replace it with healthy fat and displace it by getting rid of it. I have done stuff like that with people and seen it work, high levels of essential fatty acids, and people's waist started shrinking because we need to replace and displace the brown fat that's sitting in the waistline. Glucose metabolism. Let's take a closer look. Hypoglycemia and diabetes can both be controlled with thyroid therapy. Rhoda Barnes, MD. Dr. Barnes has not been with us for quite a few years. He wrote a book that is called Hypothyroidism, The Unsuspected Illness. And he did tons and tons of clinical studies and was actually awarded a PhD in thyroid physiology by Chicago Med. Thyroid hormones move glucose out of the blood into the cell. I mentioned that earlier. Low thyroid slows down digestion and elimination. You're not going regularly, more than likely your thyroid is not in control of proper digestion. Statin drugs block thyroid hormones, and heavy metals block thyroid hormones, okay? Endocrine disruptors. So let's change the gut. Again, like I said earlier, we convert in the gut, we convert in the liver, and we convert in the kidneys. It all starts with the TSH at the top, with the pituitary gland producing the thyroid stimulating hormone that gets sent to the thyroid, And then the thyroid gland produces a T4, and the T4 goes into the body, and then it makes T3 in those 3 different areas, and it needs the proper ingredients to make that happen. Okay, leaky gut. So many people have leaky gut. You see a picture on the left of a normal gut. The cells are tightly together. Nothing can penetrate. On the right-hand side, leaky gut. Okay, there are openings between the cells, and undigested particles enter into the bloodstream, causing major havoc with your immune system. And in my opinion, it is one of the things that causes autoimmune disease. So we have a wonderful gut reset pack. Love this pack. I had requested that, and they put it together, which I'm excited about and sure appreciate that. So Pure Body Extra is a total body detox. It is a natural zeolite that is mined in the United States. It is cleaned, so it has no toxins or heavy metals in it. And then the company charges it with calcium and magnesium. Well, when that zeolite comes into the body, it prefers the toxic heavy metals. It doesn't want the calcium and magnesium. It sees those yummy, yummy heavy metals and pesticides. So it drops the calcium and the magnesium, gobbles up the pesticides and the heavy metals, and in 4 to 6 hours, it leaves your body. Zeolite carries a negative charge inside the chambers. The body never sees these toxins again. It is not like a cleanse that goes through your blood and through your gut and gets reabsorbed in the small intestines. No, this cannot get reabsorbed. It is captured inside the chambers with the negative charge. Nowhere to go but out. Some other thyroid hormone blockers. So aluminum. Of course, that's a heavy metal found in antiperspirants, Maalox, and other products. Excess estrogen. Pesticides. Stress. Overeating. Every calorie that you eat that your body doesn't need turns into estrogen. Fluoride blocks iodine receptor sites. Like I said, iodine is critical so we don't get goiters, right? Chlorine. Many cities have chlorine in the water. Also blocks iodine receptors. Bromide, found in commercial bread, also blocks iodine receptors. Lots of prescription drugs and all kinds of heavy metals and toxins. Do you think we need to stay on top of that with the Pure Body Extra and the fulvic minerals to keep taking this out of the body, because we are bombarded on a daily basis? So protein within 1 hour of arising is necessary for proper sugar metabolism. It balances your blood sugar. A high protein diet requires more thyroid hormones. Excess protein lowers basal metabolism. I love my super organic protein. It is partially fermented. It's easy to absorb and metabolize, gives good nutrients, and people who cannot take most protein drinks have all been thriving on this protein. Then the fulvic minerals, vital nutrients for hormone conversion. So fulvic minerals, fulvic acid has been called a miracle nutrient. So the Pure Body is already in the fulvic minerals, and Pure Body is another zeolite that you can get separate, but in this case, you can just get it already in the fulvic minerals. And then it has fulvic minerals plus, and the plus stands for trace minerals. So we're getting lots of good nutrients to make that hormone conversion work while we are healing the gut and making that work better. So we're going to detoxify with zeolite. Trust nature's detoxifier to cleanse your body and the digestive system of toxins, heavy metals, and pollutants. Enjoy a natural detox. Our liquid zeolite suspension is 100% natural. There are some synthetic zeolites on the market that are made with silica and aluminum. And because they're man-made, the chambers in between the pockets, so to speak, are not very strong. And they can come undone in the digestive system due to the stomach acid. Ours does not come undone. It keeps its shape and takes the toxins out. It is non-GMO, non-toxic, vegetarian, safe for long-term use to support your well-being. I've been giving this to my grandbaby since he was 3 months old, as well as the Pure Body Extra. He's been getting it that long, and he is sharp. He is sharp. Eliminate toxins for improved health. Support your body's natural energy. Restful sleep, balance pH levels and immune function by eliminating toxins. It's a gentle and effective detox. So Pure Body uses zeolite purified in a CGMP facility and is sized for superior absorption and highly effective detoxification. Body and digestive liquid zeolite detox supports enhanced digestion, and it gently detoxes throughout the body by simply adding 4 drops 3 times a day, and that is the Pure Body. Or you can do the fulvic minerals that has the Pure Body in it. So I'm sure you know about prebiotics and probiotics. Yes, the gut needs that. Very critical for a healthy gut. Okay, we do not isolate prebiotics or probiotics in these capsules. There's food in these capsules. And the prebiotics and the probiotics are naturally present in food. If it wasn't winter outside and I could go outside in my garden and pick a fresh batch of arugula, it would be full of prebiotics and probiotics because they are naturally present in food. And that is how Touchstone does it. Okay, they keep everything natural, and that way everything is in balance. So be aware. Some symptoms to watch for: hyperthyroidism. You have acceleration, right? Weight loss, increased appetite, fast heart rate, anxiety, nervousness, irritability, shaking and trembling of the hands, perspiration, feeling warm often, greater sensitivity to heat, insomnia, frequent bowel movements or diarrhea, muscle weakness, thin skin and brittle hair, and changes in the menstrual cycle, usually shorter and lighter periods. So that is a hyperactive thyroid. Hypothyroidism, weight gain, so it's just the opposite, or difficulty losing weight, constipation, fatigue, forgetfulness, depression, dry skin and hair loss, slow heart rate, feeling cold often and greater sensitivity to cold, changes in the menstrual cycle, usually longer and heavier periods. I grabbed this testimony from one of our people. I thought it spoke volumes. I've had low thyroid for many years. About 1.5 years ago, I started on the Pure Body products. My TSH was 7.2. That's very high and indicates hypothyroidism. After 6 months, I went in for a checkup and my TSH had dropped 5 points into the normal range. I was amazed. Anyway, I stopped the Pure Body products and had another checkup 6 months later. My TSH was back to 7.2. Obviously, my hypothyroid is related to heavy metals. Boy, is that not an eye-opener. So some of the answers. Remember, the Siamese twins always address thyroid and adrenals together. Breakthrough Essentials are my private line. The products are all organic. There are no fillers, there are no flow agents, and all glass bottles, and NSF certified. And these are the prices, and feel free to contact me. And the products are actually on the website if you need them. But always keep those two together. Don't separate feeding one head and not the other. Liver and kidneys. Liver detox is very important. And I'll be talking about another class here in the near future. Okay, UT balance, urinary tract balance. I just put that in my shake in the morning. I love the liquids because it's just easy to take. Again, hormones are converted in the liver, in the kidneys, and in the gut. Breakthrough Essentials are USDA organic, no fillers or flow agents, glass bottles, plant-based, and kosher certified. Touchstone, USDA organic, gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, no fillers, no flow agents. All capsules are in glass bottles. Touchstone also has a QAI certification, Quality Assurance International, meaning they physically come and inspect the produce to make sure that the neighbor's pesticides didn't by chance blow over onto your crop. You will not get your QAI certification if that has happened. So very stringent quality testing. If there are any first-time customers on the call, you can get a $50 gift card towards your first purchase. You can either go to the person that invited you or contact me, whatever you'd like to do. We would love to get you going off to a good start for the new year. I thank you very much for your time, And if anybody has any questions, I am here to answer.
All right, great information. And we had people saying, hey, I love this info. And then Chrissy Doyle said, what do you consider excess protein levels?
It also depends on your blood type. Like I'm an A blood type. I don't do meat at all. There's a gal here in Kansas City that does keto and it has all these people losing weight. And I'm like, I would gain so much weight. So excess, there's people that say you need 100 grams of protein a day. I'm sorry. There's no way. Especially as you get older, your digestive system loses its enzymes. Like when you're 50 years old, you got 50% of enzymes left. So you need less protein. Again, it depends on the individual, because if you work out, you're going to need more. Okay. But still, I'm going to say definitely not like 100 milligrams a day. I probably get 60, and that's max for me. I'm older. I'm an A blood type, and I do fine on that. I eat more protein. My body just plugs up and gets, what do you call it? Looking for the word. It starts to just, yeah, it just starts to putrefy in its own waste.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Well, hey, that was great information. Here's another Facebook user who said, thank you, sending love. And listen, share this with people. I see here somebody's tagging a bunch of people in here to come back and watch this. Here's another one tagging people. Great information. Victoria said, greetings from Florida. Won't be Florida long. She's moving up north. And then I'm not sure who that is, but we appreciate everybody tuning in. Inge, we always, as you know, appreciate your information. So just one person said before we go here, just popped up, I couldn't see all the points on your hypothyroid chart. Could you post in the comments?
Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that.
All righty. Thank you for the info, Chrissy said. Always so interesting. I agree with that. I always pick up pearls of wisdom and take some notes. And of course, you and I have been talking about thyroid and hyperthyroidism and all that now for quite a few months, and it's made a huge difference. So thanks again for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your information, Inge. And we will see you. People, the one comment that I get, Inge, is they want you to do this more often, maybe a couple times a month.
A couple times a month. Okay.
I'm not putting you in the spotlight. I'm just letting you know that's what I'm hearing. So maybe we do it every 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I'm working on some more presentations. As you know, I've sent you some other ones, and I will keep working on some presentations because I want you to have the knowledge. So we'll see what we can come up with. And I appreciate everybody's time, and I want to wish you a happy, healthy, and blessed New Year, everybody.